Hello everyone, Beskar Brex here with a look at the Imperial Armored Marauder. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. This is set 75311, 478 pieces, and comes with a total of 4, I believe, unique minifigures. So let's go take a look at this set. Alright, so this is the main vehicle that we get in the set and is what the set is based off of. Before we get into the interior, we're going to just focus on the exterior here and some of the details. Now there are two stud shooters here at the very front which are positioned well. This is a nice place for them as it's easy if a kid is grabbing this to fire the stud shooters at the same time. There's a nice variation of studded surfaces to tiled off surfaces. This has a nice rugged look. In terms of colors, we get mostly some grays and black and a little bit of blacks with some tan thrown in there just a little bit to give it a little bit more of a worn feel. So over here we have some cannons that can be rotated here. Very simple. It is identical on the other side. Now one of the cool parts that I think about this is that we can open this and we get a crate. It's a little bit hard to take out unless you kind of do that. Just something to keep in mind. But this is a really cool piece here. A lot of great printing. I think that this is something very useful for mocks and such. Disappointingly, they don't actually give you anything specific to put into the crates. Of course, there are some leftover studs for the stud shooters, but I'd like to see some thermal detonators. Once again, you get two of these boxes in the set, one on the other side. Here in the back, we see a viewport here for the driver, which we'll once again take a look at again later. I guess some nice blue studs, some exhaust or something. There's a cannon up here which can rotate. It is limited. We'll get back to how that can be fixed in a little bit. And here is the top. Now there are a couple of things you can do up here in the top. You can open this up to put a minifigure in there. You can just set their legs in there. And there's also a hatch there which just gives you some access to the interior. Speaking of interior, let's get into that. So the first thing that can open up here is we can open up the front here, and this gives us access to the driver's seat. There's a panel right there. When opened up, it is right to be about in front of the driver there, who just has a single seat in there. And there's, I guess, a little bit of a handle here to assist you in opening this. So there we have another spot for a figure right here. The same doors are on the other side. And if we open this up, we have two more seats. It's a little bit harder to get your fingers into, but a smaller kid could do that a lot easier. And lastly, we have this nice place, which gives you the the spot for the gunner. Now, one quick thing to mention, you see that piece right there? I would actually recommend removing the piece. I'm not gonna, I'm just gonna have this on display, so I don't really have any intention to do so, but especially if you intend to play with this, I would absolutely recommend removing that piece, as once that as that limits this motion, which I don't get why Lego limited the motion of this. So that's an odd design feature. I definitely just recommend taking that off. It gives it a lot more, it just makes it more fun to have it turn all the way. Now, this set, it contains pretty good detail, and that there are a lot of places to put minifigures. You have what? A seat in there, a seat behind there, two seats there, one seat there, and a place to put a guy up here. That's a lot of places to put minifigures. And considering there are only 3 Imperials, that does give you enough to do the primary core things. You have, you can put a stormtrooper in there, a stormtrooper in there, and then you have one to put wherever you want. So yeah, this is a great troop transport, and I feel like that's just fantastic. There's so many places to put minifigures. Speaking of minifigures, we're going to take a look at those guys next. Alright, so now on to our minifigures. Our first one is the protagonist of this set. This is Grief Karga from his Mandalorian Season 2 attire. I believe that this minifigure is currently exclusive to this set, so it's nice to see him in a cheaper set as opposed to the expensive one that he came in last time, being the Razor Crest. Now, we only get one expression for this guy, though probably because you'd be able to see some of his beard under his hairpiece, which I actually really like this hairpiece. This is the first time I'm getting this hairpiece, which I'm glad to have it. So I think that's a good kind of neutral stern expression if he's only gonna have one. The printing on this, for my opinion, is done well. The thing, you know, his jacket connects down the hip piece and down the legs from his torso very well. Good production, at least on mine. Overall, just a darn good minifigure to have, one I'm very happy to own. Next we have some of our Imperials. These are 2 Imperial Stormtroopers, but these are both 2 separate minifigures, not just the same one, so we can take like each one individually. This is our male Stormtrooper. I know that there were some complaints about this helmet at first. I've actually really grown. It's really grown on me, this dual molded helmet. I was definitely skeptical at first, but I actually really like these Stormtroopers now. I'm very pleased to you know, have 2 more in my collection. This one is a female one. That's the only difference with her. And for our last minifigure, definitely the best one in my opinion, we have this artillery stormtrooper with a little build, which I believe to be a mortar. It's very simple, you know, you just stand it, you know. You might have to do some repositioning here if you want to get in a very specific angle, but you know, it's a cool thing to have. So I will say though, really the only main complaint with this set is that they didn't give this guy a blaster. I would have loved to see just even a pistol, but this is a very unique stormtrooper. As you can see all these yellow markings. This is, I believe, to be like the first specialized stormtrooper of this helmet mold. Even though I know we have had some sand troopers, but you know, this guy just looks fantastic in my opinion. That yellow is such a unique color for a stormtrooper, and I love that pauldron. We have some nice, of course, additional backpacking on there, and here is his head, which is a very standard head for a stormtrooper that we're getting now, but it's just nice to see some variety. I love this minifigure. I'm super happy to have him. For me, he is absolutely the main draw of this set. So that is going to be it for the 4 minifigures plus a small build. Let's get into the overview. Alright, so overall, I don't think I could recommend this set enough. There's very little flaws, but there is such a great combination of display and collector value. There's some good collectability in these minifigures, especially these 2. Oops, my apologies. And they are both also great for play. So the minifigure selection is very solid. And the build itself has a great combination of things for display here. It looks nice in my opinion, but it also plays very nice. I think there's, I believe, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you include this, I believe there's around 6 places to put minifigures. That's a lot of places to put minifigures, especially for a $40 set. Of course, it might be a little bit overpriced. Lego Star Wars sets generally are. But I definitely feel like this is a very solid Lego Star Wars set. If you haven't had this and you have some, and you're willing to spend some money on a set like this, of this price range, I definitely recommend this set, especially if you're into The Mandalorian. With that, everyone, that is my thoughts on the set. Let me know yours in the comments, and I do hope to see you in my next video.